Everybody, good afternoon. I know it's so unlike me to be on here at 3:40 in the afternoon, but I was watching my Indie Strong video from last night, and as I mentioned last night, I have a cold, and so I had taken some medicine, and I feel like by the time I got to the end where I was talking about the 2020 plan, it got really confusing, and I didn't really feel like I was making a lot of sense. So if you watched episode 14 last night, or on the YouTube, which I'm fixing to post, you probably are thinking, okay, yeah, she's definitely got the cold medicine happening right now. So I really wanted to go over the how to make a plan for 2020 better than what I did last night, because I feel like I was just a rambly mess by the time I got to that point. And I really do feel like it's important. And I'm going to go on hiatus until January 6th. And so I wanted to make sure that this information got to you before then so that you could plan your 2020 year for writing. So hopefully this will not be nearly as confusing as I was last night. Again, I apologize. I'm totally blaming the cold medicine on that one. So I've taken some today, but hopefully I'll make more sense. So if I sound a little congested, totally am. So anyway, here's how you're going to make a writing plan. And this really works for just about anything, but I'm going to talk specifically about writing for 2020. So very first thing you've got to do is you have to either buy a planner or set up a digital planner of some kind. Being an indie author, owning your own business of any kind, you really do have to manage your time, and you have to set goals, and you have to be self-disciplined. And hi, Joshua. And see, I'm seeing a lot of people I don't see at 10:30 at night because they're all like, no, honey, we're sleeping then. And I totally get that. So anywho, the very first thing you have to do is you have to have that planner. You have to have some way to organize and manage your time. And so that's step one. Buy the planner, set up something digitally, whatever works best for you. I honestly do both because I like having my calendar always on my phone, which I know is like super dirty because I have a son who likes to play with it, but I also have my planner because I remember things better when I physically write them down. So either way, or both is fine. Just make sure you have a way to keep track of your time. Then number two, look at the projects that you want to finish, that you want to accomplish in the next year, and make sure that it's a doable goal. A lot of us have just done NaNoWriMo. Are you going to write 50,000 words a month? Most likely not. Life gets in the way. So you want to make sure that it's a doable goal. You're most likely not going to publish a novel every month next year. That's just seems kind of ludicrous, even for the fastest of writers, to be able to do that and make sure that it's a quality product. Because remember, it's not just quantity, it's also quality. So, make sure it's doable. Make sure you can do it. Worst case scenario, you finish your 2020 projects and you're able to get a jump start on your 2021 projects, or you get more done next year than you ever thought was possible. I mean, that's the worst case scenario, but definitely have goals for next year and make sure that they're doable. Like I said, worst case, you get extra stuff done. And that's always a woohoo. Write on the calendar when you want to finish those rough drafts or when you want to publish those books. You have to write it down in order to remember it. You have to write it down in order for your brain to be like, okay, this is a goal that I want to accomplish. This is something that I want to do, and this is what I want to get it done by. And then you have to work towards that goal. So you want to, number 4 is you want to count the days that you have from January 1st until your goal. Make sure that you take into account the time that you need to outline, character sketch, and brainstorm. Make sure that you take into account the time that you're going to take off for holidays, vacations, family time, and even some sick days, because we all get sick. So make sure that you take into account. Once you have the days that you're going to work, that's when you say, okay, in order to meet my goal, I have to write X amount of words every day that I work in order to match this or meet this. Or I have to edit so many chapters every day in order to meet this goal. So you can either work backwards and say, okay, I want to publish on this date, so I have to write so much. Or you can go about it the other way and say, okay, I'm going to write 500 words a day, so I should finish by this time. So you can do it either way. I like to do it backwards. I like to say, okay, I really want to finish by this day, so this is how many words I need to write. That really kind of pushes me a little bit more so than just saying, okay, if I write 1,000 words a day, I should be done by here. So, but I do kind of take that into consideration. Like, I'm not going to, if I have 30,000 words to finish in a rough draft, I'm not going to say that I'm going to have that done by January 1st when I know full well that the last week of December is going to be busy. So you have to take in all that stuff into account, and you can do it either way. So once you have your days figured, figure out how many words you need to write or how many chapters you need to edit in order to meet that goal. If you're doing it the other way, then you say, okay, my goal is to write 1,000 words a day. I have this many days to do it, so I should finish that rough draft on this day. General rule of thumb for me, it usually takes 60 days to finish a rough draft, especially when I have two littles, and then 90 days to finish all of my editing. And your copy editor time will vary because you'll be working on their schedule for that. So that is basically the steps to it. And not all goals have to be about finishing a project. You could just have the goal that says, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day, 4 days a week, or I'm going to edit a chapter a day, 4 days a week, or I'm going to just write, I'm going to make it a point to sit down and write it for an hour, X amount of days. So they don't all have to be like, I'm going to finish this goal. But I mean, those are the kinds that tend to work best for me. But sometimes it's just saying, you know what, this week, I'm going to write 4 days a week, or I mean this year, because we're planning for the whole year. So this year, I'm going to write 4 days a week. So it can be like that too. The important thing about being an indie author, like I said before, is self-discipline. It is meeting those goals because nobody's going to tell you to do it. Don't ask your husband to tell you to do it because that'll just start a fight. Because you'll be like, don't tell me what to do. Yeah, so I've been there. So husband can't be your boss. Nobody can be your boss but you when you're in a field like this. And anybody who owns their own business realizes that you have to be self-disciplined. You have to set goals. You have to do inventory. You have all this business side of it when you'd rather be writing. And this is part of that business side. You cannot be successful at being an independent author if you don't put out material frequently. So, and by frequently, current standards are 4 times a year. I know that sounds like a lot. It can be done. It doesn't all have to be novels. It can be novellas and short stories. That's one of the reasons I really like to submit to Chicken Soup for the Soul, because they can help me meet that goal. But you do have to publish frequently as an independent author in order to stay in the reader's eye, and that's what you want to do. And so really think about that when you're making your goals for 2020. Remember that your story matters. We want to read them. There's no such thing as a bad story. There might be a story that needs work, but there's no such thing as a bad story. Those are called rough drafts. We all have them. If you guys read my Witch of Apple Hill, I mean, that's me putting my rough draft out in the world. And I do that for our website, and it kind of gives, for our nonprofit website, and it kind of gives you an insight of the actual process. It's far from perfect. And I put a little disclaimer at the beginning saying, hey, this is a rough draft, so cut me some slack, basically. And so you'll see that it's far from perfect. And by the time that I actually put it out for publication, by the time it goes through all of my quality control, then it's almost a different story. So don't be afraid to write crap, because you're going to edit it. And you're not going to put it out for the world to see like I am. So I don't know. Just call me silly. I don't know. Anywho, my daughter's fixing to come home from school, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I've got one sleeping, one coming home from school, and I basically told my husband to just leave me alone for 10 minutes so I could get this done, because he is working from home this afternoon. So, yeah. You know, I really don't mind that until he thinks that my time is his time. And you know, I'm just like, no, I've got a routine, buddy. So anyway, I love my family. They're so sweet. Okay. So enough about that. Reach for those goals. Whatever your goal is, it's a step in the right direction. You cannot make a wrong goal as long as you're working towards it. Unless you're going to try to gain 600 pounds. I don't know why anybody would do that, but that would be a wrong goal. A wrong goal. Okay. Don't do that. All right. So I'm going to log off until January 6th. And I hope that you found this a lot less confusing than what I was saying last night, because when I was rewatching it, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to redo that. So again, we're just gonna blame the cold medicine. It's all good. We'll be fine. Anyway, again, I wish you the merriest of Christmases, the happiest of holidays. Exactly, Danny, no wrong goals. So I Unless you want to gain 600 pounds, I can't imagine that that's a good goal, Danny. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We'll have to chat about this later. So, anyway, I wish you the merriest of Christmases, the happiest of holidays, and a blessed and prosperous new year. May you write many, many, many successful words. Until then, take care and happy writing.